Are you looking for the field manual for starting your own business? Join me in episode 42 of Veteran on the Move as I talk with Wes O'Donnell, author of the book Rise, the Veteran's Field Manual for Starting Your Own Business and Conquering the Online Economy.
Hey, this is Zach Bob from Crowdfund Genius, and you're listening to Joe Crane, the brilliant mind behind Veteran on the Move, the one-stop shop to get from the military to entrepreneurship.
Welcome to Veteran on the Move. If you're a veteran in transition, an entrepreneur wannabe, or someone still stuck in that JOB trying to escape, this podcast is dedicated to your success. And now, your host, Joe Crane.
The top 7 paths to freedom is my free gift to you for listening to the show, featuring 7 great ways for a veteran to take their first step into the exciting world of entrepreneurship. To receive your free gift, go to veteranonthemove.com, or if you're listening on a mobile device, you can text the word veteran to 38470. Army and Air Force veteran Wes O'Donnell is the founder and creative director of WarriorLodge.com and the owner of Modern Workspace Tech Furniture. He holds a U.S. patent on the OmniCart modular medical cart system and is a professor of marketing and business analytics at Baker College in Michigan. Wes is also a motivational speaker with a particular focus on veterans, and his book Rise is available at Amazon and fine booksellers everywhere. All right, Wes O'Donnell, thanks for being here on the show today. Looking forward to talking to you. I've given everybody a bit of an intro about your background and your little bit of your military background. Why don't you start off by telling us what you did in the military?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me, Joe. I joined the Army Infantry in 97 and was assigned to the 101st Airborne out of Fort Campbell. And just before, I think it was January 2001, I got out and was a cop for about a year until 9/11. Then I decided to go back in the military, this time in the Air Force, working on the AWACS at a Tinker. In between there somewhere, I had a little bit of reserve time as a Russian translator. It was quick and dirty. And so all in all, about 10 years in the military.
All right. And, looking at your resume, you've entered that entrepreneurial world. What was your transition, either the first time or the second time? What was that transition like out of the military? And give us an idea how you eventually ended up in the entrepreneurship area.
I didn't, while I was in the military, I didn't know that's what I wanted to do. I just assumed that I was going to get out and look for a job. And that's what I did. I actually got out and got a job with a big medical company called Siemens, big German company, fixing X-ray machines, actually. And it was while I was at that job that I noticed, just in the course of doing my work, fixing these X-ray machines, I noticed that a lot of the doctors and nurses at these different hospitals were having the same problem. And that was that they could always had a crash cart around when they needed one, but they never had a pediatric cart or an anesthesia cart. So they spent on average 30 to 45 minutes looking for the right medical cart. And it was just from that little observation of seeing that a problem existed and that how can I solve this problem for these people, that I thought, you know what, using what I learned in the military about everything's interchangeable, everything's modular, I want to make a modular medical cart. And that was my first product. That was my first big idea that prompted me to quit my job and take the little bit of savings money that I had at the time and go for it.
So here you are going about your day-to-day activities, working for the man, and you identify this pain point for a lot of people, doctors and nurses. You just come up with a solution for it and you go with it. Have you never had any experience with entrepreneurship before?
Not myself. My uncle, of course, I wasn't very close with him at the time, but he is an entrepreneur. And so I gave him a call and I said, hey, are there any tips you can give me? And he sort of gave me something, not anything ultra valuable, something I just couldn't read in a book somewhere. But personally, I didn't have any entrepreneurial experience. And my wife almost lost it. She's like, you're seriously leaving this company, Siemens? This company's great. We're making a decent salary. Like we're going from making a lot more than I made in the military at this company, and then we're going to go to making zero, and for the first year, because you can't expect to make a profit in the first 12 months of a startup. So yeah, it's been you have to have a stomach of steel, so to speak.
So yeah, definitely a ballsy move. And I guess eventually your wife did let you go ahead, go through with it, which is good. But did you find that you had an uncle that gave you a little bit of advice, but did you find it was hard to find a guidebook or resources or people that you could reach out to actually get you going and help you along the way?
I didn't. I'm trying to think of the resources that I actually looked at that time, and I think I may have looked up a couple of articles on the web. LegalZoom was an amazing help, and I'm not plugging them. I don't work for them, but I mean, for $200, you can become a legal entity as an LLC, limited liability company.
Mm-hmm.
It's just too easy.
That's how I started my first LLC. Was LegalZoom.
Yeah, I mean, LegalZoom makes it too easy to get a trademark and to do all this stuff. So I actually endorse them in my book. They don't know that I endorse them. I don't get any money for endorsing them, but they really are streamlined.
And then, so how did the medical cart, the portable medical cart, turn out for you?
It turned out well, and so I have no experience in manufacturing or CAD design. So I have this drawing that I did up in Microsoft Paint, some ridiculously crude drawing of my idea, and I wanted the drawer module is what makes a type of cart. So a crash cart is going to have a certain configuration of drawers, and an anesthesia cart is going to have something totally separate. So if you could just find a way to quickly swap out the drawer modules in a metal frame, a cart frame, then all of a sudden you have a modular medical cart system. So what I did was I sort of jotted this down on a napkin and got onto a website called Elance, which is a place where freelancers can connect.
Oh yeah, I love Elance. I've used it several times for many different things.
Yep, it is a great resource, especially for startup companies, for very micro entities like myself that had about $6,000 in savings at the time. I mean, I was nothing. I had nothing, and to go there and to hire somebody for I think it was $1,200 is what it cost me to get a legitimate CAD designer to give me a whole bunch of documents, CAD drawings and PDFs that I can take to a manufacturer and have them translate that, put those numbers into a machine and spits out my cart. It's just amazing that for $1,200 to do this on Elance, and that $1,200 for that CAD drawing was the single biggest expense. There was nothing else in my startup that costs more than that. That was the biggest thing. So if you're not looking at, big product launch like that, starting a business is, even cheaper.
Yeah, that's incredible. So I guess you got the thing out there on the market, right?
Yeah. Well, I didn't actually sell it myself. What ended up happening is that I went ahead and got the patent pending, which is what they call a provisional patent application, and that is extremely cheap in relation to what a full patent is, which could be upwards of $20,000 to get a real patent, not counting lawyer fees. So you pay $200, you get this patent pending designation, where the U.S. Patent Office will hold on to it for 12 months and allow you to build up the money to get a full patent. And what ended up happening was instead of me partnering with a manufacturer to start building these things and selling them through MD Advantages, this company that I started, a big medical cart manufacturer actually found this cart and offered to buy it, or at least buy the patent pending and pay me royalties for it. So this company, I sold out. I cashed out before this company even got off the ground. I didn't get to see what kind of a boss I would be at MD Advantages, because as soon as the project was good enough that they wanted to get their hands on it right away. So they ended up giving me a lump sum of cash to pay for the cart, and then on every cart they sell from here for the next, I think, 21 years, I get like a 3% royalty.
Wow.
And as soon as I closed up shop after that. Luckily, I hadn't really hired anybody except for freelancers at that point, so I didn't have to lay anybody off. It was just sort of okay, I'm out. And everything else has been, e-commerce. I opened an e-commerce store and then a website that generates revenue from ads. So, everything else has been online after that.
Now, I don't mean to be nosy, and I certainly, whatever you want to answer is fine, but the lump sum or the royalties. I mean, what kind of money are we talking about? I'm just real curious. You don't have to give me a dollar figure. I mean, was it like a month's salary or a year's salary, or you give us any kind of an idea just to put things in perspective? I mean, what a great story. I mean,
No, yeah. I'll just tell you straight out. It was $750,000, and then 3% off of the price. So
holy
whatever
cow.
whatever they price the card at, I don't know what they're going to charge for it when they finally manufacture it. But whatever that price is, I'm going to get 3% of everyone sold after that. So hopefully that's going to be a nice little bit of residual income. And this is a stupid idea. This is just an idea that pops in your head.
Yeah.
And this is what I want veterans to understand, is that you can make something from nothing. You can generate cash from your mind. And you think about that, that's just an amazing thought that somebody can do that. Everybody can do that. They just need to know that they can do that.
Absolutely. I think it was a guy Kiyosaki said that, who used to work for Apple, had said that he was talking under reference about don't worry about someone stealing your idea, because there's 1,000 ideas out there every day. The key to it all is taking action on your idea and making your idea happen.
Right. It's just taking that leap of faith. And I'm trying to go into the field of motivational speaking, but I'm not going to get off on too much of a tangent here. But you have to have two things, and one of them is imagination. And you have to use your imagination. You have to see yourself in 10 years down the road, highly successful, living the kind of life you want to live, traveling where you want to travel. You have to actually see that. You have to use your imagination. It's something that no other animal on the planet has except us. And after you've seen where you want to be in your mind, then you just have to have faith. So you just have to have imagination and faith. Faith that even though you don't see success anywhere around you at this moment, you have to have faith that you will be where you want to be, and you will do what you've been called to do when the time comes. So
absolutely. Now, I do have to ask, after it was all said and done, was your wife happy that you left your job and pursued your idea?
Yeah, she never had any doubt, she said. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, she did, but she won't tell me that. So now all these crazy ideas that I have, she doesn't question them anymore. She's like, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, you got enough of a buffer at this point. So, your modern workspace tech furniture business, did you end up in that after you invented your medical cart?
Yeah, after I was released from the duties of MD Advantages, I'm trying to think of how I came across Shopify. Shopify is a service that will host your online store for you, just like BigCommerce and Magento and a whole bunch of other competitors. But Shopify, in my experience, is definitely the best. It was so easy for me to sign up for like a 7-day free trial, and you know what? This is one of the things that my uncle did tell me. He said, "Don't sell to consumers." He said, "Who cares what?" I mean, it's exhausting to try and figure out what regular people want on a daily basis and what's trending. He said, go business to business, sell to other companies, because you know what they need to operate their businesses. It's pretty standard and unchanging, and they pay their bills on time. They're usually good customers. And so that one gem of advice is how I built Modern Workspace, .net. And I'm going to sell to other companies. I'm going to sell tech furniture, video conferencing furniture, computer desks, these types of things. And it worked out well. I still haven't sold anything to regular people. Those aren't the types of people that come to Modern Workspace. It's other companies.
Yeah, well, I heard about Shopify after I had read Tim Ferriss's book, The 4-Hour Workweek. I don't know if that's where you discovered it or not, but I've never actually used Shopify, but it's interesting to meet somebody that has, and it's actually been successful and worked for them. So yeah. So I want to talk about warriorlodge.com and your book, Rise. Which one came along next?
Warrior Lodge came along next, and that was a response to what I saw as my main competitor is military.com. If you go into their website and you search for 2015 military pay charts, because I want to know what I'm getting paid as an E5, this year.
Yeah, I've gotten an email update from them for years. I still do.
Yeah, I still do as well. And what I noticed was that once I started to go to my reliablemilitary.com, they required that I have a subscription to view this content, to view this information.
Yep.
And I said, that's unacceptable. I said, why are they doing this? I was so aggravated. And of course it's their right. They're their own business. They can do whatever they want to do in their best interest of generating revenue. But anyways, I was so perturbed that I said, you know what, I'm gonna take them down. I'm gonna start my own military website.
Wow.
And it's one of those lofty goals. And so I started looking up domain names on GoDaddy. I'm like typing in just random cool military sounding names. And I said, you know what, I think warriorlodge.com sort of hit the nail on the head, because really the site's focused more towards veterans than it is active duty or people thinking about joining, but it also services them as well. But its soul is for veterans. And shortly after I got it up and running, it took me about 6 months to put everything together on WordPress. I put on Google AdSense advertising code and started making a couple bucks a day. And of course, that's been growing now for quite a while. It was during about a month after warriorlodge.com had been open to the public, which was November of last year, 2013, that I started writing the book Rise. So they sort of grew together. This is why there's not a lot of information in the book Rise about warriorlodge.com. If the book were written today, I would most definitely add the numbers, because warriorlodge.com is very, very successful in generating money.
And you did a relaunch of warriorlodge.com recently, didn't you?
I did. The original site was sort of looking kind of antiquated. It wasn't good on mobile devices. What I did was I started a Facebook business page for warriorlodge.com. And I started sending out just cool, funny military pictures, stuff, the kind of stuff you see on your Facebook wall that makes you chuckle, like Russian soldiers doing stupid stuff, and it sort of grew on Facebook to where I think just as of last night, about midnight, we hit 40,000 Facebook followers on this business page.
Yeah.
And what happened is that I put a link to warriorlodge.com on the Facebook fan page for Warrior Lodge. And I say, hey, check out this article, or check out this top 10 list, top 10 military powers of all time. And people will click on the link on Facebook. It takes them over to my website. And that's where, if they happen to click on an ad, it puts 20 cents or whatever in my bank account every time that happens. So,
and it's working for you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, like I was saying, if the book Rise were written today, I would probably devote half the book, because most of the book is talking about MD advantages in modern workspace and how to start an e-commerce store. But I would definitely put, now that this has worked out, that it is also possible to generate revenue from owning a website, which is free to everybody who goes there. And the way I'm making money from it is from the Google advertisements that are on there. So as of right now, as of today, here we're about the middle of December, Warrior Lodge is generating about $1,000 a day in advertising revenue.
A day, not per month.
$1,000 per day. And
wow.
And of course, yeah, you have to imagine that this started making, $3 a day in the beginning. And just even maybe about 4 months ago, it was making $200 a day. And I was so happy. I was like, $200 a day times 30 days, that's $6,000 a month. That is $6,000 a month is awesome. Like that's, a car payment, a mortgage payment, that's paying, a lot of these bills. And this is passive income. So this comes in.
It's like free money.
It's free money. It comes in when I'm sleeping, because I put in the work to build this interesting website that had interesting content. Now, it's up to 1,000 a day, which is completely mind blowing. I had these big hopes and wishes for Warrior Lodge. I thought maybe someday, it'll be at the point where it's making, not 6,000 a month, but 6,000 a day, just from the sheer amount of traffic coming through.
Wow.
And it's actually happening faster than I had is really picking up steam now. And if it just a side note here for anybody thinking about just opening a content-rich website and putting ads on it, if you're thinking about this, this is the one hard and fast rule: is that content really is king. You have to have compelling stuff, and you can't make the ads overbearing, because if there's too many ads cluttering up the website, people aren't going to stay. It's gonna really adversely affect the user experience. So I keep the ads minimal and out of the way. I showcase the content first, so people keep coming back. And even if only 2% of the people that come to the site click on an ad, that's what's making me the money that I'm making right now, that $1,000 a day. And of course, that's reflected in a metric called the click-through rate, the CTR. And so that's something you can actually measure: what percentage of people that are actually coming to your site, actually click on an ad. And so content is definitely king. And knowing this, you can go to Elance and you can pay people $20 to write you a 500-word article, but I'm stingy. I don't like paying. I don't like paying for stuff. Like, so I'm in that entrepreneur small business mindset. You gotta save as much money as possible. So what I did was I took to LinkedIn and I put a message on the biggest military group they had. I think it was just U.S. military veterans or something, U.S. military group on LinkedIn. And I put a message out to everybody and I said, hey, I'm looking for contributing writers for a website called warriorlodge.com. This is not a paying gig. I can't pay you any money, but it's a great way to get your portfolio built up, and you can reference your writing. And of course, on the site, I'll showcase your name as the author box and give you credit for your article. And what I had 40 people from around the Department of Defense contact me and say, we'd love to write for free for warriorlodge.com. So I have all this free content now pouring in to warriorlodge.com that these people are getting their recognition. I'm getting the free content that's keeping our regular users, mostly from Facebook at this point, engaged.
Wow, that's incredible. I mean, it's so simple, yet look what it's done.
It is, and it's at this rate, it's going to be more successful than the product that I started with MD Advantages, and of course, Modern Workspace is doing okay, but Warrior Lodge has definitely exceeded my expectations. So, Rise is all about getting veterans to rise up and start their business. We need veterans in business. We need veterans in politics. We need to take back the country. And we have all these post 9/11 vets coming out. Right now is the perfect time to get these men and women thinking about empowering themselves.
That's empowering is a key word with the whole veteran thing and transition. Veterans should not be looking for a handout. We should be offering our veterans a hand up.
Yeah,
and ultimately empowering them to do what they want to do, and give them the skills and programs and people and resources to get them going. But ultimately, it's going to be up to the veteran to make that happen. There are some out there, I think, that feel sorry for themselves, or guys that have been through a lot. It's understandable, but ultimately, they have to reach down inside and grab a hold and get themselves back on their feet. And there's so many people and resources out there that are just bending over backwards to help veterans that want to do this and want to help themselves. And that's really what this podcast is all about. It's just featuring all those people and programs and the resources too to get these guys going. And I experienced a little bit of it myself. I haven't had nearly the success that you have, but you start with an idea and you just go with it, and you're going you're going into uncharted territory. And I didn't know about a lot of the stuff that's out there when I got going and started. And if I had known about it, it probably would have made things a whole lot easier. And it sounds like you experienced some of the same things yourself. So I'd love to talk about Warrior Lodge some more, but let's focus in on your book, Rise. And did you say you started writing that before Warrior Lodge really took off? But probably from your experiences with your medical cart and your in your modern workspace furniture company. So go into give us some more insight on the book Rise.
Yeah, absolutely. It was born just from the idea that my feeling deep down is that a lot of these veterans, they have the perfect skill set to go out and be amazing. I mean, they are ready. And of course, we hear these horror stories about people hearing that you're a veteran and then not wanting to hire you after that because they're afraid that the veterans has severe PTSD or traumatic brain injury and is going to flip out in the workplace. And I've heard some pretty harrowing stories, and so when you hear this over and over again, some veterans start to become brainwashed. They believe what the government tells them. They believe they're broken. They take the handful of pills from the VA, and I want the mindset to be changed. I want them to know that they, unlike their civilian counterparts, their millennial counterparts, that they are the rightful heirs to the country. They went out and fought for it, and they sacrificed for it. In addition, if veterans don't make the most out of their lives and go out and do really what they want to do in their heart, and if that's start a business, then great. If they don't do that, if I didn't do that, I would feel like I would be dishonoring the memories of those individuals that did make the ultimate sacrifice and did not come home. And I owe it to them to be the best I can be. And so on top of that mindset, veterans already have this amazing skill set that they're already halfway to becoming this incredible entrepreneur. They have the stomach to take risks. They have the ability to deal with ambiguity. I mean, they've already lived. They didn't know it at the time, but all of these things that they learned in the military are actually the identical skill set that you need to be successful in the first 12 months of a startup. That really tough time, and they call the first 12 to 18 months of a startup the valley of death, because that's when 70% of them go out of business. And so it's a tricky time. You just have to have that intestinal fortitude. And that's exactly what these veterans have right now coming out. So Rise is a call to action. It's, listen, you guys have the skills you need. You can do whatever you want to do. This is my field manual. This is my roadmap of how I did it for an e-commerce store on Shopify with modernworkspace.net. I talk a little bit about MD Advantages, but mostly it's about an e-commerce store. I wish I might make a second edition and include the Warrior Lodge success in there, but it's a change in the mindset, and so anybody can feel good when they have their health, their bills are paid, they're in happy relationships. Anybody can be positive then. Anybody can have a larger vision then. The real challenge of growth, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, comes when you get knocked down. It takes courage to act. It takes courage to stand back up again after you've been hit in the gut. And so, these veterans are feeling something substandard, less than society. Maybe I don't fit in. These people don't know. They don't understand me. They don't know what I've been through. I'm not around my brothers and sisters anymore. That's when that thought should occur to you in your head. Okay, well, then I'm just going to be a leader out here. I'm going to take over myself.
Your story of success is inspiring and motivating. You've motivated me just from talking to you here in the short time. And if you want to check out Wes's website, it's warriorlodge.com. It's a great website. I've been on it, and there's some awesome articles. I was reading one last night about a ranger goes to college, quite comical. It's all good stuff. And plus, you have a phenomenal other amount of resources and everything on there. And I definitely get what you mean when you're talking about military.com. You want to go see that one article and they try to make you pay for it. Yeah, I go the other way. But somebody must be paying for it because that's what they're doing. So they got more customers than they know what to do with.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then if we want to find your book, Rise, how do we do that?
Yeah, Rise. I think if you go to Amazon and search for Rise Wes O'Donnell or just Rise Wes, that's actually the first book that comes up. And it's actually I've seen it at some Barnes and Noble bookstores in person. I don't think it's at all of them, because I'm just a nobody. I'm not like, you see Tom Clancy's book out, you're not going to find Wes O'Donnell's book just yet. Hopefully, eventually. But if you ask for it at Barnes and Noble, they can order it for you and have it there on the next day. But
and I did see it on Amazon, and you can order the hard copy, or it's also available in Kindle edition. You can get it right away.
Yep, it is. And I did want to mention that in early next year, we're actually launching a 10-part video documentary series. I'll call it let's call it a web series called Rise TV, and it's basically it's a more pilot's view from 30,000 feet of success. It's not granular like the book Rise is, that gives you a step-by-step guide. Rise TV is more of a call to action, a motivation to get out there and do something amazing. Shot on a whole bunch of cool locations and some cool music. So, of course, that'll be should be on the warriorlodge.com YouTube channel sometime early next year.
Okay. And it's all free content?
It's all free.
Awesome.
It's free. Yeah, it's free for everybody.
All right. I look forward to that. Well, Wes, thanks for sharing your phenomenal veteran success story. I love it. And to a T, exactly what I like featuring here on Veteran on the Move. Motivating those veterans out there, follow their ideas, follow their dreams, follow their passion, and go out there and make your country proud. So I'll give you the last word, Wes, and then we'll call it a shot.
Well, definitely thanks, Joe, for having me. Anybody can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I love helping veterans. I do it for free. I want every veteran to have the information that's in my head. I need us to be powerful as a group. And so anything I can do to help anybody else, I'm completely open. I want my success duplicated 1,000 times over by as many different veterans as possible. So reach out on LinkedIn. We can talk one-on-one. And Joe, I definitely appreciate you reaching out and finding me, and thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, Wes. Great story again, and thanks for being here. And we'll stay in touch and look forward to your future successes.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Hooah. Thank you for listening to Veteran on the Move, your pathfinder to freedom. If you like the show, leave us a review on iTunes. Reviews are always greatly appreciated. So until next time, this veteran is Oscar Mike.